Pablo Escobar. Cocaine, money, lots of it, violence, murder. Just a few things to describe Pablo and his crazy life of indulgence and greed. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 3 as we pick the minds of the Colombian cartel, also known as the Medellin Cartel. I'm your host, Chet Banks, and you're listening to Pick the Mind. Pick the Mind. Pablo Escobar, born December 1st, 1949 in Rio Negro, Colombia. There is a rumor that he started his criminal career as a teenager stealing gravestones and sending them away for resale to local smugglers, but his brother claims the gravestones came from a cemetery whose owner stopped paying for the site, but his son Sebastian claims his life of crime kicked off by selling counterfeit high school diplomas, which, hey, I want a diploma. Escobar started many criminal activities with his partner Oscar Aguirre, selling contraband cigarettes, fake lottery tickets, and stealing cars. Escobar worked as a thief and a bodyguard and began working for Alvo Prieto, who was a contraband smuggler. Escobar was known to have around $3 million by the time he was just 26 years old. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? He had many nicknames. One that he was most known for was the King of Cocaine. However, during his life, he had many other nicknames, including Don Pablo, El Doctor, the Doctor, El Magico, the Magician, El Padrino, the Godfather, El Patron, the Boss, El Señor, the Lord, El Zar de la Cocaína, the Tsar of Cocaine. Pablo began his cocaine distribution in 1975, sending out several planes between Colombia and Panama, along with smuggling routes into the United States. He later bought 15 bigger planes, included a Learjet, and 6 helicopters. His cartel distributed around 80% of the smuggled cocaine into the United States at the height of his career, bringing in about $29.1 billion a year. $29.1 billion a year just for personal income. Wow. 26-year-old billionaire. He was often called King of Cocaine, which, yeah, that suits him well, and had a net worth of $30 billion in the 1990s. More than 15 tons were smuggled each day, bringing in around $420 million per week. Oh my fuck. Holy shit. Pablo Escobar was responsible for killing thousands of people, including politicians, journalists, and civilians. He dreamed of becoming a great leader, and in 1982, he was elected as an alternate member of Colombia's Congress, but when he couldn't hide the truth behind his wealth, he was forced to resign after 2 years. The minister who had revealed Escobar's notorious background was later slain, because Escobar was a murderer, and you fuck with him, he'll just kill your ass. The cartels continued to battle for supremacy, led to Colombia being the murder capital around 1992 because of Escobar paying his hitmen to kill police officers, in which 600 died as a result. Even though he did all these terrible things, he was actually looked up to by many as he helped build homes for the poor. He was a natural at public relations and a sports fan. He built football fields and multiple sports courts and sponsored children's football teams. Escobar eluded a police manhunt for 7 years and finally surrendered to Colombian authorities in exchange for a promise of leniency and extradition to the United States. Escobar was put behind bars in his luxurious prison, which was ordered to be built by the cartel to suit Pablo's needs. The prison, dubbed La Catedral, also known as the Cathedral, was fitted with a casino, a billiards room, a bar, a disco, a sauna, a jacuzzi, a waterfall, big screen TVs, and a life-size dollhouse for his daughter, trying to make his life behind bars as nice as possible. I guess you could call that a prison. Sounds more like a vacation getaway for most of us. I mean, what kind of prison has a casino and waterfalls? Shit, I'd go there. He was sentenced to 5 years behind bars, quote unquote. It's like, oh, I'm in behind bars. This sucks. Sucks so bad. You guys want to go to a casino? Oh man, being in prison sucks. Oh yeah, we could play pool and go swimming in a waterfall. Man, prison's rough. If a prison was that luxurious, I'd go there. His visit was brief. It was a brief one as he moved on on June 19th, 1991 and fled on July 22nd, 1992. Pablo Escobar was killed by Colombian special forces after being discovered hiding in a house in Medellin. His prison is now home to the elderly after being transformed by Benedictine monks in 2007. He managed to stay on the run for well over a year before finally being gunned down on December 2nd, 1993, just one day after his birthday. Happy birthday to you. Even after his death, his Robin Hood-like image maintained a lasting influence on the poor that he aided during his lifetime. Many of the poor mourned his death, and 25,000 people attended his funeral. Some considered him a saint and even prayed to him to receive divine help. Barry Seal, the man who delivered it all in the plane. Escobar came in contact with Barry Seal, who was an airline pilot for the United States suspected of smuggling plastic explosives, but was dismissed in 1974. He was a flight engineer for TWA, flying Boeing 707s, and was later terminated for taking false medical leave to participate in the scheme. In 1976, Barry Seal began smuggling small amounts of marijuana, but upped the ante in 1978 to cocaine because it brought in the big bucks. In 1979, Seal was arrested in Honduras after drug smuggling trip, and although they did not find any cocaine, they did find one of his M1 rifles. He was only in prison until 1980, and quite undeterred by his arrest, Seal expanded his operations on his return to the United States. He hired William Bottoms, his ex-brother-in-law, as a pilot from 1980 on. Bottoms was the main pilot in Seal's smuggling, while Seal did all of the planning. Ah, man, that's a lot of cocaine flying around there. That cocaine. You want some cocaine? Later, Seal worked for the Medellin Cartel as a pilot and drug smuggler. He delivered to numerous locations in Colombia, Panama, and the United States, and brought in around $1,300,000 per flight. Yep, per flight. But the drug smuggling finally caught up with Seal, and he was arrested, tried, and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Afterwards, Seal approached the DEA and offered to work as an informant in 1984. Seal's plane was equipped with a message encryptor and cameras by the CIA. The sting operation took place in Nicaragua, and Barry Seal took photos of Pablo Escobar and the Medellin cartel loading the plane with kilos of cocaine, like probably a shit ton of cocaine. So much cocaine. Seal flew from Nicaragua to an Air Force base in Florida, where the cocaine was seized by the DEA. The cocaine never reached the cartel's distribution handlers, which led the Medellin cartel to believe Seal was involved for the lost shipment. Colombian assassins were sent on February 19, 1986, and shot Barry Seal to death inside of his car in front of the Salvation Army facility, which brought the DEA's investigation to an abrupt end. That reminds me of a Grand Theft Auto 3 mission. This guy gets in his car, shuts the door, and the car explodes. It was a great mission. The assassins were apprehended trying to flee Louisiana shortly after Seal's death and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Cartel members Max Mermelstein arranged the hit on Seal, offering $1 million to capture him alive or $500,000 to kill him. That would be the end of Barry Seal. Which brings us to our next segment, Interesting Facts of Pablo Escobar. Interesting facts.
How interesting.
Interesting fact number 1. Pablo Escobar had so much damn money, he spent over $2,500 just on rubber bands to wrap it all, just to keep it bound together. If you think about it, that's a lot of rubber. $2,500 just to keep his money. That's fucking crazy. Interesting fact number 2. Pablo had so much cash coming out of his ass that he lost a lot due to water damage and rats nibbling at $100 bills. He lost more money to rats than most people would make in an entire lifetime. Man, I wish I was over there just to, pick it up or ask him if I could have it. I'm like, "Hey, Pablo, can I have that money that's just getting chewed up by rats?" He's like, "No, no, se me no, I'm just kidding. Interesting fact number 3. In the peak of his career, Pablo was earning nearly $60 million per day and had nowhere to put it. So they started putting the money in big plastic drums and burying it in the ground. There were reports that in 2012, a Colombian farmer discovered one of these drums with over $600 million inside. Oh, hey, anybody want to go to Colombia? Vacation? We can bring our shovels, just go out with a metal detector or something, dig around. Maybe we'll find one of them barrels. Interesting fact number 4. While Pablo was on the run in 1991, his daughter became ill with pneumonia, and in order to keep her warm, he used $2 million in cash to kindle a fire to keep her warm. Well, you're rich when it's like, "Oh, yeah, let's just make a fire for you, baby. Yeah, baby girl. You want some cocaine? Oh, wait, never mind. You're like 2 years old." Interesting fact number 5. After his escapade of drug smuggling, Colombian officials seized Escobar's fleet, which included 142 planes, 20 helicopters, 32 yachts, and 141 homes and offices. Yikes. Oh my gosh. Oh my no. Oh yeah, he had 2 submarines too. Might as well get some water vehicles. Interesting fact number 6. Pablo's biggest shipment of cocaine to the United States weighed in at an astounding 51,000 pounds. You know how much cocaine that is? 51,000 pounds of cocaine? Holy crap, man. No wonder why there was a cocaine drug problem here. Pablo Escobar, man. Quite the businessman, but he was also a psychopathic murderer. Yeah, you don't want to deal with him. Interesting fact number 7. Pablo Escobar had so much cocaine, he started stuffing pocket pussies, dildos, pocket asses, pocket mouths, pocket ears, condoms, breast implants, taxidermied kittens, taxidermied kangaroos, and real life sex dolls to help get it to the United States. It is also rumored that he mixed huge barrels of cocaine in water and then soaked them in tampons, which would expand. So when the buyers got their cocaine, they could just squeeze out the cocaine-soaked juice from the vagina sticks into buckets, let it dry, then snort it up their nose holes. Nah, just kidding. Of course not. That's not true. I like making things up at the end, if you haven't noticed. And that'll do it for episode 3. It's a little shorter than the other ones, I think, but that's okay. Thank you so much for sticking around if you made it this far. As this episode has now been picked. It's been picked. Pick that cocaine out of your nose. Stay tuned for episode 4 as we pick the mind of Peter Scully, a sick, twisted pedophile with sadistic child porn who raped, tortured, and murdered young children. What a fuck. Thanks for listening. I will see you next time. Much love and peace out.